To say that I'm primarily a jazz guitarist is a little bit of a misnomer. When I came back from America, guys would approach me basically and ask me to join their bands. These were primarily rock bands. And right now, kind of committing to Corrigendum, I have like 4 pop-infused albums out there. Medulla Komid, Chartreuse, Poetic Eras, and Driving in Iceland. And these are albums imbued with a pop sense and sensibility. Guys would ask me, lots of guys, to join their bands, rock bands, not really, to the very lesser extent, jazz bands. And I remember one particular incident where I was going to, and a seminal incident in Cork history, seminal part of history in Cork. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Let me take you there. I was going to a rehearsal with a rock band in Drawbridge Street. I was late. And I was like, right, let's move it. And I was just about to cross Patrick Street. And who was there but Cillian Murphy? And I'll be honest, I was so late, I had to get skates on. I got to move it. And Cillian gesticulated, come here to me. And he actually shouted. So I couldn't miss him. So I went over. And this was important because this was Cillian Murphy's breakaway from the normal run-of-the-mill music. This is when he wanted to kind of move towards directions and groove. Zappa. And he wanted private lessons from me. So he solicited private lessons from me for himself. And this is a very, very important moment. But in the meantime, I had to get to a rehearsal and I had to get to a teaching job. So I was kind of under a bit of pressure. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, great, fine. See ya, off we go. There you go. And, but again, not only that, I've also done quite a little bit of sound art. Quite a bit of that. Ambient recordings, environmental ambient recordings, and all this kind of stuff. And had like one of the first, probably the first, environmental ambient recording made in Cork and exhibited in Cork. The first one. I did that. We'll talk about that later on. But basically, that, lots of stuff like that. And, also, I'm an author. I was a bit of a child prodigy author in Christ the King School. And I still write the liner notes for the albums, the prose, the poetry. And not only that, I've got a corpus of literary works that is unpublished, 4 or 5 novellas. Also, short stories and stuff like that. I'm mainly kind of a short story guy. A compendium, like I would have compendiums of short stories that I could turn into a bit of a book, several books, actually. So I kind of do that. So to say that I'm just a jazz guitarist is not the correct moniker for me. I would, to recapitulate and requote the rubric from, the subheading from the Cork Examiner article a few years back by Paul, nice guy. Mark O'Leary, more than just music. Thank you for listening.